welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Luke 24:6. Why seek ye the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. You and I will never understand the utter desolation of the days that lead between Christ's death and his resurrection. Our faith rests on centuries. We know that grave was not even an interruption of the progress of his work, but was a straight road to his triumph and his glory. We know that it was a completion of the work of which the raising of the widow's son and of Lazarus were only the beginnings. But these disciples didn't know that. To them, the miracles by which he had redeemed others from the power of the grave must have made his own captivity to it all the more stunning. But let's imagine the amazement of the two weeping Marys when they found those angel forms sitting with folded wings like the cherubim over the mercy seat and heard the words, "Why seek ye the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen." For we may likewise apply those very words to the present condition of all who have departed in his faith and fear, since for us, too, it is true that whenever we go to an open grave, sorrowing for those whom we love, or oppressed with a burden of mortality in any shape, if our eyes are anointed, we can see there sitting the quiet angel forms, and if our ears be purged from the noise of earth, we can hear them saying to us in regard to all that have gone away, "Why seek ye the living in these graves? They are not here, they are risen," as he said. The thoughts are very old. These words of the angel messengers and the scene in which we find them suggest the dead are the living. The dead and the living are not names of two classes which exclude each other. Much rather, there are none who are dead. The dead are the living who have died. Whilst they were dying, they lived, and after they were dead, they lived more fully. We live unto God. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. This solemnly, sometimes a thought comes up before us, that all those past generations which have stormed across this earth of ours and then have fallen into still forgetfulness, live yet. Somewhere at this very instant, they now truly are. We say they were, they have been. There are no have-beens. Life is life forever. To be is eternal being. Every man that has died is at this instant in the full possession of all his faculties, in the most intense exercise of all his capacities, standing somewhere in God's great universe, ringed with a sense of God's presence and feeling in every fiber of his being that life which comes after death is not less real but more real, not less great but more great, not less full or intense but more full and intense than the mingled life which lived here on earth was a core of life surrounded with the flesh of mortality. The dead are the living. They live whilst they died, and after they die, they live on forever. Such a conviction has, as a matter of fact, been firmly grasped as an unquestionable truth and a familiar operative belief only within the sphere of the Christian revelation. From the natural point of view, the whole region of the dead is a land of darkness without any order, where the light is as darkness. The usual sources of human certainty fail us here. Reason is only able to stammer a guess. Experience and consciousness are silent. Testimony there is none from any pale lips that have come back to unfold the secrets of the mysterious grave. The history of Christ's death and resurrection, his dying words, "This day thou shalt be with me in paradise," the full identity of being with which he rose from the grave, the manhood changed and yet the same, the relationships of the 40 days before his ascension, which showed the continuance of all the old loves stronger than death, was in all essential points like the former relationship with his disciples, though changed in form and introductory to the times which they should see him no more in the flesh. These teach us, not as a perhaps or a dim hope, but as a certainty based upon a historical fact, that death's empire is partial in its range and transitory in its duration.
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.